you guys. Forgive how I look if I look a little crazy or tired. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Sorry. I'm a little crazy right now. I haven't taken my sleeping pills, so I'm so like and I just took them, so hopefully I will start to calm down somewhat and can go to sleep. Because I was up all day, well, a good majority of the night working on this giant sword back here, which I'll show you here in a minute. But first, by the way, this is a story time. Kind of. Story time rambles, really. But this is this is an outfit I got from the store. It was like the Sparkle Girls brand thing. Moonstone showed it to me. She messaged me about it and she was like, hey, this would look good on Kira. And it does. But the problem was it was really tight around her shoulders because I really wanted the off the shoulder kind of thing. So what I did is I cut it, and then I had an accident where I cut it too far, and then so I just sewed it up, glued it, and then with fabric glue, and then I used this pink embroidery floss to kind of cinch it so it looked like it was meant to be cinched and stuff like that. And then I just added some dangle parts to it and stuff, make it a little more pretty. And then here's the skirt, which doesn't fit whatsoever. It's huge. I mean, it's a huge gap. Like here's, so that's kind of disappointing. Moonstone did give me an idea to fix it. I just haven't had a chance to actually try. So, yeah. But it's really, really cute on her. I love it. And then, since I'm doing kind of updates here, let's set Kira down. Can I see this? Is that okay with you? Thank you. He's like, I just got this giant sword and then you take it away. This thing is huge. I think when I measured it with Tiffy, it ended up being like 13 inches. And I think I can get longer swords too, because I did cut off like a chunk. Because I didn't know, I didn't know how to go about it, but I think like if I did it differently, I could actually probably give it another inch, maybe. But like I tried to do something like teeth down here, and then I added this fur, which is basically a fail, so probably not going to do fur on swords for at least a while. Until I can like absolutely know I can do them, do fur on swords. So, but the furs on here, it looks okay. I'm happier with it than when I first did it, so we'll just put it that way. So it looks cool, and then I like how I did the sword where I made it really gross, muddy, like it was never really cleaned, which kind of would go in line with Alex, because I mean it's kind of pointless to continuously clean a sword if it's always in like mud and fighting and stuff like that. So yeah, really happy with these. So, and I only have 5 painter sticks right now. I don't know when I'll be able to get more, so we'll see how many or what it is that I make out of those. If anyone asks or something like that. But anyway, I pretty much wanted to talk about not really their story, more like different part, like an aspect of their story. Basically the council, the spirit council to be more specific, and that's just what I call it because I could never come up with a better name for it. And then, because everybody knows the factory, and these are like the council and the legend, which kind of I'll talk about here in a minute. The council is kind of like a factory as far as, or kind of like the factory where they're kind of against them in the story in a way. Kind of, sort of. It's complicated. But I thought I would explain exactly what the council is. Like I'm not going to really give anything away about the story, obviously, because that'd be like pointless to the story. Her legs are a little blah. Anyway. So there's council, like I just said, I'm going to talk about. And then I kind of wanted to say, like, I didn't think it completely through, but I wanted to incorporate, like, the legend of, I call it the demon and the light. The legend of the demon and the light. And it's kind of, I don't know. We'll see how it goes when I start telling it, because I switch things around with it to see how I like it, so we'll see how it is. Anyway, the council. Basically, the spirit council is, okay, millennia, many millennia. There was this one, basically the one guy, maybe a couple, I don't know, but there is like the head council guy. This was before there was an actual council. But there's this guy that, like, kind of run the spirit world. Like, this person dies this day, this person dies this day, this person's being born, this person's being born, this baby's being born over here, that kind of stuff. Well, obviously, because as time goes, population gets bigger, he kind of needed help. So, after centuries and centuries and many millennia, he kind of just gathered up a bunch of spirits that he felt were, like, worthy to, not worthy, but, like, who he felt could have the responsibility of deciding a lot of these things or running a lot of these things. So, like, at the present, basically, the council, or at the present, as far as what you guys know, the council is vastly big. Huge. Hundreds of people basically run the spirit council. So you can already kind of think about how complicated that is. And then there's obviously one head guy, which is who I would assume would be the original council dude. The original guy who kind of, or he's probably not the original, probably every other millennia or something like that he would go, they would get a new person to kind of help run the thing or something like that. I didn't put too much thought into it. But anyway, so there's a head guy, which he still does stuff. Like, he's pretty much the boss of all of these people. So he still does stuff. He does basically what he's always done. He just doesn't focus solely on, like, certain people anymore. It's kind of like a general kind of thing now. So he doesn't really see a lot of stuff, I guess, is what you could say. Things happen that he doesn't know about and stuff like that. So for the most part, that's kind of the council. And the reason I'm talking about them is because they're going to start becoming a little more evident in the, when I start talking about the stories from now on, because they're a good part of the story as well, along with the factory. Although the factory is kind of starting slowly to kind of fade out a little bit. Yeah. Well, they're in there and then they're out, and then they're in and then they're out. Basically is how the factory is with their story. But pretty much that is what the council is. I don't want to say a little, like, any more, because that will ruin the story a little bit. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about is the story, like the legend of the demon and the light. Now, I just created this story because I was like, I like this concept, but I need something better to explain it. There's got to be a reason for it. So, I created this story. And this is a very one-sided story. Just to let you know, this legend is one-sided. There's another side to this story. So, once upon a time, many millennia ago, there was this man who basically turned into the demon. Basically, he was every bit of dark energy you can ever imagine. He was this giant, just dark entity, if you could, like, imagine that. And probably not by size. When I mean by big, dark, like, an entity, I mean, like, he's just, like, very evil, very dark, blah. And he was very ruthless. He wouldn't give a shiz about killing people or taking people, or he would even like go on and just do like what is it, the where the diseases spread, plagues. He would even do like plagues and stuff, and people would basically consider it like an apocalypse. So all of that was going on probably for at least a millennia. And after a little bit of time, eventually there was this thing called the light, and it was basically what they say is a being of light necessarily. It realized that it was better. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this, because everything sounds better in my head, and then when I try to say it, it's like, that's not what I'm trying to say. And there's a few pieces missing out of this story, because like I said, I've changed it a few times, so I'm trying to remember the correct parts, or the parts that I like and want to keep. So, darkness, a long time. Well, eventually there's this being of light that comes up, or it comes into play. I'm not exactly sure how in that legend that happens. I just know it eventually, this being of light just comes, and he or she or whatever it is every bit of good and light and just really nice energy, and obviously that counteracts the dark energy. And from what the legend says, the light energy destroys and kills the demon, and it brings a very long era of peace and goodness across the world, basically. And that legend is very important, and I know that was probably very confusing and not very good, but like I said, I'm still kind of working things out. But I thought I'd still tell you guys, especially since I don't have a video for tomorrow. But this is something I've been wanting to talk about for like 2 weeks, and I just haven't had the chance. So that's why I talked about it now. And the reason I talked about those two things at once is because they're kind of intertwined. So, like the council and the legend. So, yeah, I hope you guys like that little... Ow. I don't know what happened. Like I rubbed my finger and it like hurt or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I hope you guys like those two little snippets, or whatever you want to call them, of the story. Not that I told any part of the story. I told you different things that go on that cause the story to move forward, I guess is what I could say. I do plan on telling another part. I don't know if I want to tell it or not, because it involves, I'm just going to call him Charlie for now on, just because I seriously cannot think of any other name, and Charlie is the one thing that I continuously go back to, and no one has ever suggested me a name, so I'm gonna pick Charlie. It's generic, just like Alex, and I wasn't very happy that Alex had a generic name, but I mean, like, not to say your name is generic. My name's Brandon. Y'all, there's like 3 million Brandons in my city, so when I say generic name, my name is generic, okay? I'm sorry. I don't mean it in an insulting way. I mean, it's a very common name, is what I mean by that. I'm sure someone's gonna be upset with me. Oh my god. And I forgot what I was saying. So yeah, there's a lot of Charlies in the world. So it's a fairly common name, and Kira's fairly unique to me. So that's why I really love her name and everything, and I love Alex's name. But I mean, just happens to be like a name I like. But, and it's not that I'm harping on this a little too much. Anyway, I'm naming him Charlie, and if anyone has a better name, please tell me, because I'm all up for the ideas. But the next part of the story involves Charlie, and I don't know if I want to tell it since I don't have the doll, and I have no clue when I will be able to get him whatsoever. I have no clue. And, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. If enough people whine about wanting to hear the story, then I will definitely tell it. We'll do it that way. We'll see how many people comment. I don't know. I'm sure no one's going to comment. But anyway, I'm done rambling. Like I said, storytime rambles. Nothing really made sense, and I'm also really tired, so you have that. So yeah, that's going to be it. Again, I hope you enjoyed what I did talk about, and I'm sorry for the rambles. You could have just stopped watching, and that would have been fine. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!